by the song for all of you. It's playing in the background. It'll be down below. The ancient ones arise again. The tides are rising. So what DOVA speaks on is the ancient ones will rise again in different colors. And as you can see, it brings great emotion to my heart. And it's not sadness, it's excitement that every time I listen to this song, I'm like choked up. So the day I was on the mountain with Mother Earth, watching the kaleidoscope of the colors, it's been a deep anchoring for me. And at that time, she had told me that every story is a lie and the only truth is love. And you can hear that, but what do you do with that? We're humans having the craziest experiences, right? Let's divide out who we are. Because there's a part of me that knew exactly what she was speaking of, and I was there, present to that. And then over the last 2 years, we've been speaking together about all parts, particles, and pieces that are inside of me, inside of you. And we've been talking about the functionality of what that is and how it's functioning, so we can take a better look at it. If you look out into society, if we talked about the ego, one would know how to identify that someone else has an ego. But we all have them. And then we're told in some practices to get rid of the ego. And as I stated to you before many times, if we remove one part and shame it, we create shame. And did we come here for that? Did you come here for that? Did I come here for that? Why shame something that doesn't know itself as love? Why shame a part of me that doesn't know myself as love? Right? So the journey has been to look at that, to do forgiveness, to do connectiveness back inside. And recently I've been talking to you about the subconscious that's running 95% of your experience, consciously, unconsciously, and where it got developed and how it's malleable and how it moves with the experiences that you're having, that I am having. It's a personal journey that I'm sharing with you. And it is my honor to share this journey with you, because I know that this is part of my soul's purpose, is to see the mechanics, work with the mechanics of the human self and move through it, not as a talking piece to you, but move through it within me, and then share that process with all of you as a way of remembrance. So I've been blessed with 60 people that watch my videos, which tells me there are 60 masters in motion right now. 60 masters in motion right now. What does that mean? Are we waiting for someone to save us? Or are we already here, ready to save ourselves? And what does all of that mean? How does it function? I'm going to share that with you today in more awareness. As I gain more awareness, I share that awareness with you. So let us talk about the subconscious that's connected to the collective consciousness. Let's talk about the ego that didn't know itself as love. And I can't say that that's true any longer within each and every one of us, because we've been talking about it, therefore we've been exploring it, therefore we've been doing the work. And I talk about the never-ending story because it's been like a never-ending story in our lifetime, but then think about the time frame of many lifetimes over again. How do you get a part of yourself to trust in divine love when it's not known it, when it shames itself or shames others? How do you step over the threshold? How do you meet that threshold? These are all really important pieces to this evolution. So I'm shown by Mother Earth, and there's a part of me that stands and knows myself as ancient and knows why I came. But I've got 95% of my subconscious connected to the collective conscious that I'm working with. And then I've got my ego I'm working with. It's a large percentage of one functioning of lack of love, right? But it isn't lack of love because it doesn't want to receive love. It's been programmed, it's been abused, it's been mistreated, it's mistreated others. It's like animal nature. But it's unfair to say that about animals, because animals actually don't have a subconscious and an ego running. They just have pure spirit. You can see when an animal is abused, though, they will experience, especially like a dog or a cat, you'll see them, they're more like the human that way. You know, they will react, they will hide, they will retreat, they will attack, and that is all of us. And until we can see all of that within ourselves, we're not ready for mastery. And I kept saying, I'm not a master, and I still am not a master, but here's what I can tell you. There's mastery within me, and there's mastery within you. And I think that's the first part of this video. I really want to get anchored in this moment with you. And the mastery is in all pieces of you. It's in the mastery of the ego. It's in the mastery of the subconscious, that they themselves will master themselves in love. That's where we're moving to. That's the freedom of what this tyranny, and I say it is tyranny because I'm living it. So I have my personal experience of that tyranny from a collective governmental system to the close perception of how my ego and my brain, subconscious, function. That's an honest approach to yourself that you give yourself to move towards that freedom. In addition, you may have a lot of galactic DNA coding that is also being activated, so I don't want to exclude anything. It's all inclusive. We're just talking about the human functionality as it would pertain in generalizations, not in you as an actualization. Okay, so I'm doing my morning meditation, but it's not morning, it's noon, because I could not go to sleep last night. It was 5 in the morning and I was just like wide awake. So noon is when I got up and had my little coffee concoction. I actually am gonna try to create the coffee concoction on video so you can see what it is. It's so delicious. You could not find it anywhere but in Susan's home. But then when you do it in your home, you're just gonna love it. Anyways, I'm digressing. Let's get back on the road of this ancient self-awakening within the subconscious, and also the ego. They're not out of the game. They're just needing to remember that they are loved. So I'm outside, I'm doing my meditation, and I'm hearing someone not reflect my state of mind. And I'm watching what my subconscious wants to do and what my ego wants to do. In addition, I've got a card in front of me called the Wolf Clan, and it's like, it's okay to set the perimeter of your energetic boundaries. So now I'm like, okay, so it's an energetic perimeter setting, but what does that look like from a highest trajectory point of view if I can utilize the awareness in my ego and utilize the awareness in my subconscious from a higher movement process of all the clearing that we've done, all the forgiveness we've done for others, all the forgiveness we've done for ourselves. Does it have movement? Does it equate to anything, right? And the answer is yes. And it was the first time I realized. So I was like, okay, let's approach this from all that we've gained in love. And you know, the first time I've ever experienced self wanting to do a Ho'oponopono for all egos and all subconscious that I had come at aggressively and not in love, and demanded instead of open my heart up to the receiving piece of it. And so the Ho'oponopono began. And I realized that my subconscious and my ego could reach out to the collective. It could reach out and it could honor it. It could reach out and it could apologize for what it was carrying within itself. And it could ask to be forgiven and ask that all collectives and all subconscious begin to develop a loving relationship with one another. And it's begun. My subconscious chooses to have a loving relationship with each one of your subconsciouses. My ego seeks to have a loving relationship with your ego. I don't want you to change. I don't want you to be any different than what you are. I don't think I'm better than you. I don't think anything other than love. But the separation within each other has been too long. And as my ego and my subconscious work on the mastery of keeping that awareness, I'm then now in the trees, and I'm in every animal on the planet, and I'm doing Ho'oponopono with every animal on the planet and every tree on the planet, and all the ways in which I wasn't honoring because I didn't know any better, because I was sitting in a place of non-love. And then I watched my subconscious connect with their heart, and I watched my ego connect with their heart, and a black spider came and it greeted me, and it was a big black spider. It was a masculine black spider, and he was big, so he had been around for a long time, and he greeted me, and he came to look to see who was this ego, who was this subconscious that was apologizing instead of dominating. And wanting to truly connect in love. And I see so much room for how we shine within each of us. I see so much room for how perfect everything is. And it's not about asking anyone to be different. It's simply asking, can we begin to love? Can we begin that relationship? So beautiful. So it's interesting. I saw from my collective human experience this thought that actually triggered all of this. I've endured not always being treated right, and I've stayed around, let's put it this way. I've endured not being treated always with kindness, but I know that I'm not perfect, so I always keep a place inside of me in a way that I haven't cut people off. I've just taken steps back, and I realized that there were functioning parts of me in my subconscious and in my ego that have always desired to be free and back in love. And I could see it with those actions, because I could see when those people re-entered back in, how I felt inside. I didn't wish them ill. I didn't want to harm them. I was excited to play in the heart space again. It's not a common feeling, right? Which is why this work that I'm doing within me is the work that I'm doing within me. And And if it triggers remembrance for you, that's beautiful. If it doesn't, I'm just sharing a part of me. I'm just sharing a part of how I'm functioning, how I'm growing, how I'm going back into remembrance in all parts of me. This is not to ask you to be any different than exactly who you are. But I'm excited to share with you exactly who I am. And I look forward to all of us sharing exactly who we are with one another. We are in some exciting times within me. That's how I gauge where we're going as a collective, because I'm, like you, a part of this collective, and I matter, and we matter. And exactly how you are is perfect. Exactly where you're at is perfect. Be kind to yourself. That's my new line. I learned that from Awakening Spirit. I love her so much. Be kind to yourself. It's the only way back home. To the heart. Mwah.